For joining us today. Your Saltwater Guide with another good show for you today. Everybody on Megaphone, Spotify, and Apple, thank you very much. Unbelievable the amount of downloads on the Tito Ortiz show. So thank you very much. If you did not have a chance to see the interview I did with Tito Ortiz, you might want to go look at our YouTube channel or Facebook, or Spotify, or Apple, or go check it out. It's a great interview with Tito. I think you'll be blown away. Those of you that think you know who he is, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you find out who the real Tito Ortiz is. MMA fighting legend Tito Ortiz was on our show on Friday. And then this Friday, we got Rick Maxa from Let's Talk Hookup and Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Rick is a plethora of knowledge. He's going to join us on Friday. We're going to interview him. We're going to find out how he got into fishing, how the whole thing got going, and what he's doing now and where he's at now and all those great things. So make sure you stay tuned. Every day, Monday through Friday, we do these podcasts and we try to keep it as interesting as we possibly can. And we touch on a lot of cool topics and a lot of cool products. And today is Promar Ahi USA Tuesday. We always try to talk a little bit about some Promar products on Tuesday. And today we're talking rockfish. And nobody has better products for rockfish fishing than Promar. Those rock cod squirts by Promar, the pink ones and the white ones, those are deadly. You see them all the time over on our website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, constantly on the community. So many people showing great catches with the rock cod squirts. So you want to check those out. But don't forget, we got one more day tomorrow. If you visit the Promar store, and all you have to do is visit the store, go through that QR code I just threw up on our Facebook and YouTube channel. Hit that QR code with your phone. Just enter the store. Elliot's got a perfect way to track who you are. And by entering the store, that's going to enter you into the contest to win the bag of swag. We're going to give that away on Thursday. Tomorrow's the very last day, though, of this contest to win the bag of swag. And all you got to do to win that bag of swag is enter the store. Just by entering the store, no purchase necessary. That'll get you qualified to win that bag of swag. And in that bag will be some rock cod squirts, some probably live deception flash jigs, a hat, t-shirt. It's going to be a great bag of swag. So make sure you check it out. Go over there. Go through the QR code. I'll leave it up there on the screen for a few more minutes. But we're talking rockfish today, gang. And why are we still talking rockfish? It's almost June, Captain Dave. Why are we talking rockfish? Why aren't we talking yellowfin and dorado and marlin and all that other stuff that we caught the last few years? Well, gang, the reason why we're talking about rockfish is because we're on a regular cycle here in Southern California. We're on a regular cycle the way that it was before 2015. This is how it generally is in Southern California. We don't really start to see that pelagic fish show up in our area. Oh, yes, Marley's doing much better. Thank you for asking. Yes, there he is right there. He wanted to make sure he was going to be a part of the show today. He's feeling much better. Marley is doing really good. Those of you that don't know, Marley is my monkey. He's right up there behind me up on the top. He's the smallest monkey in the world. He's a marmoset monkey, and he was a little under the weather. But now he's doing much better. He had a great weekend. He's back to eating and having fun and running around here in his jungle of a room we built for him, and he's doing very, very good. Hey, Joey Helgren, nice to see you. So Marley's doing good. We're doing good. Why are we fishing rockfish right now? Why aren't we fishing wahoo and dorado and yellowfin tuna in Southern California? Because we're in a normal cycle for Southern California. That's why we're not catching all that pelagic fish. Are we going to catch that pelagic fish this year? Absolutely. But I wouldn't get too excited. I wouldn't get too wound up, and I wouldn't get too disappointed. We were spoiled since 2015. We've been absolutely spoiled. If you go back and look, 2014, 2013, we were on a regular cycle. Actually, it was pretty bad fishing, actually, in 2013, 2014. And there was a lot of boats for sale. There was a lot of stuff happening. And then all of a sudden, 2015 came along and saved the industry. Now we're back to a normal type of cycle year. But talking to some of the gurus of fishing, I believe, and so do they, that we're in store for probably one of the strongest El Ninos we've ever seen. Down here in Cabo San Lucas, where I live right now, it's only May 30th, and the water's already 82 degrees. That's absolutely incredible. My buddy Pete Grossbeck said down in Costa Rica that there was spots of water that were 90 degrees. You get off the beach down here out towards the seamount, stuff like that, there's 84, 85-degree water. It's incredibly warm down here, and we have a massive south swell right now, so that's pushing that water up the coastline, and everything's on tap to be a phenomenal season in Southern California. But while we're waiting for all this pelagic fish to show up, you cannot not go fishing. Come on, gang. You have to go fishing. And that's why I talk about this rockfish thing. We are blessed in Southern California, in Central California, to have this rockfish very, very close to our backyard. Very, very close. You don't have to burn a phenomenal amount of fuel. You don't have to be staring in the gyro stabilizing binoculars all day. You can go to some cool websites like Your Saltwater Guide or some of the other websites that offer you up rockfish numbers. I don't know what those websites are, but you can go to those websites and you can get some rockfish numbers, and you can go out and you can actually catch fish locally in Southern California to feed your family and also to have fun fishing. And we've been blessed this year because they opened the depth limit up so we can fish deeper water. And they also opened the 14-mile bank, which we hadn't been able to fish for over 20 years. And the boats that are going out there are just having a spectacular time catching all that bank rockfish, like the chili peppers that Joey Helgren and I grew up fishing when we were kids, all the way up until we were running sport boats for a living for our fathers. That chili pepper is a phenomenal fish to eat. It's a phenomenal fish to catch. It lives in 70 to 100 fathoms. And that's why you're seeing a lot of those on the boats right now, is because of the fact that we haven't got to fish it in so long, and now it's open and it's actually biting. So you got to be excited about what's going on. If you do not like rockfish fishing, if you do not like calico bass fishing, then there's probably a pretty good chance that you just don't like fishing. Well, I only like to catch big giant bluefin. Well, then you don't. That just tells me right there that you don't really enjoy fishing. And those of you that are only waiting to go out on the sport boats until they're catching 1,000 bluefin or 1,000 yellowfin, you're missing out on some phenomenal fishing, gang. There in Dana Point last weekend, the last weekend, they had a mix of anchovy sardines, and the sand bass and the calico bass fishing was really, really fun. And then they also had really fun rockfish fishing, and then the halibut fishing right now from the Channel Islands to the Mexican border, San Clemente Island, Catalina Island. The halibut fishing is historic right now. It's better than I ever remember seeing it. Now, it may have been that good in the 70s or 80s, but remember what I tell you all the time, the 70s and 80s were gnarly on me, and I don't they tell me I was there. I've seen some old pictures of it. I don't remember much of it, but from the mid 80s till now, I've been pretty aware of what's going on, and I've never seen anything like what's going on right now as far as halibut fishing. One of the sport boats up at the Channel Islands the other day had 35 or 37 legal halibut. Another one had 42 legal halibut for a day trip. That's incredible. There's also some boats out of San Pedro and down in Newport that have been catching double figures, 10, 12, 15 halibut on a trip. That's unheard of. If you get one or two, that's a big day. They're getting double digit numbers on the halibut. That's incredible. If you are waiting, well, I don't want to go fishing until there's a lot of tuna. Guess what? Hey, Mike Lewis, guess what? You're not going to get to go because the boats are going to be packed. They're still carrying lots of people right now, even though we're not catching hundreds of thousands of bluefin and yellowfin every single day. The sport boats are carrying lots of people. The private charter boats are carrying lots of people. And Mike, you went out fishing. Did you catch any fish? Yeah, you did. You caught rockfish, calico bass, Sunday less than a mile out of Oxnard and less than 100 feet of water. Great day on the water. Did you get those spots off of a website by chance, Mike Lewis? Was there a website that you were able to gather those numbers up? Less than a mile out of Oxnard? Well, I don't know. Maybe your saltwater guide. Gang, don't forget. Leave some stars, sprinkle some stars out on our live shows every day. It really, really helps me out. It helps me to feed my little monkey up there that's running around up there. There he is. Look at him. He's laying out flat. He's feeling so good. I'm so glad that you asked how Marley's feeling. Thank you. That makes me feel good inside. It makes Kelly girl feel good inside that you actually care about our little monkey. That's the smallest monkey on the planet Earth. He's almost a little over a year old. And he stands a whopping 8 inches tall when he stands up on his back legs. He's the absolute smallest monkey in the world. You can see him right here. He's right above my head right here. He's right there. He is. There goes Marley. So check out the stars system on Facebook and sprinkle some stars out. And over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. It's a huge deal on every social media platform, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. That like button is crucial. I had no idea. I'm an old guy, and I hear all these people. I watch their YouTube channels and their Facebook, and everybody's always begging for you to like it and subscribe. Well, that like button, I had no idea. That like button sparks the algorithm and pushes my videos in front of more people. So if you enjoy my stuff, help me out by hitting that like button. Help me out by sprinkling some of those stars across our videos too. It really helps us out a lot. Thank you, Mike Lewis. Mike Lewis has been sprinkling stars out across my videos longer than anybody. He hasn't missed a day yet. It's pretty incredible. Flash up the number of how many in a row, Mike. I just can't believe it. This is incredible. Everybody, Kim and Dan, thank you. As soon as we get a little sun, gang, on the water, and Kim and Dan are telling that right now, as soon as we get a little bit of a little bit of sun on the water, the calico bass fishing is going to be insane. They're trying to spawn right now. Even though the water's 61, 62 in most places, they're still trying to spawn because it still is spring. Just need a tiny little tick in the water temperature to go up. But in the meantime, there's nothing to get upset about. This rockfish thing is unbelievable. It's just so fun right now. And 58 weeks straight, Mike Lewis. My goodness, gang. 58 weeks straight. There's something to push for. There's something to strive for. I don't think you'll ever beat Mike, but 58 weeks, he's sprinkled stars across all my live videos. Marley, you love that, don't you? Gets Marley lots of good bananas. He loves his banana. There, he's having a little mango yogurt right there. He just slurped it up. But this rockfish thing is absolutely incredible. What's going on with the depth limits opened up. Plus, all the numbers I stole from all the great captains like Joey Helgren, Don Brockman, Doug Harmon, and all the great captains that I work for. I stole all those numbers, and then I make them available for you on my website. Could you imagine? There isn't anybody else that's doing that for you. All you got to do is sign up over at yoursaltwaterguide.com. When you sign up to my website, you'll see all the different videos. For a small little upgrade, you can become a member with the bundles. And the bundles are where you're going to get all the spots. That's where you're going to get all the spots. You go to yoursaltwaterguide.com. Those of you that see the QR code right here on Facebook and YouTube, grab that QR code, go check out the website. And then what I did for everybody, not only do I have all this available, but then I spent a bunch of my money to build an app so that it's super easy for you to grab all this information and have it at your fingertips of your phone at all times. That was my commitment to you, is to build that app. I didn't need to build the app. I built it so that it would be more convenient for everybody. Go to the App Store, download Your Saltwater Guide. You'll be blown away at how quick and easy. It takes less than 10 seconds to download my app. And then when you get in there and you go, oh, wait a minute, he wants my credit card. No, I want you to call me. I have like 15 videos that give you my phone number and tell you to call me. I don't want you to put your credit card in there. You're doing that on your own and then panicking. Call me. You don't need to put your credit card in. Call me. I'll open the website up. I'll let you take a free look. I'll let you see all the bitchin' stuff that's on the website. You do not need to put your credit card in unless you don't want to talk to me, if you're afraid to give me your phone number, which I have no idea why that is such a fear, but it's a great fear because I have 15 videos on my website. I have 580 videos on my website, but I have 15 of them that say, call me before you go any further. And people don't call me. And then I ask for your phone number on the website when you sign up, and people don't put their phone. And I don't really understand. Do you think I'm selling your phone number? If that's the case, I had no idea you could sell phone numbers. And I have thousands of them on my phone. So if somebody knows where I can sell them at, please give me a call or text message me or leave a comment on here and tell me that I can sell these numbers, because I'll do it. I don't know why you're scared to give me your number. I'm going to call you up. I'm going to open my website up for you and let you take a free look and let you see how bitchin' it is. And then you can make your own decision if you want to spend some of your hard-earned money, some of your Starbucks coffee money. Yep, it's less than a cup of Starbucks coffee for a month's membership to my website. So don't be afraid. But back to the rockfish thing. Gang, when you're rockfish fishing in Southern California, the key to it is having some spots. It's super important to have some spots. So how do I gather up as many spots as I can? Well, go to someone's website and get them. But then here's the key when you're fishing that rockfish. When you go to these spots that you get on my website or someone else's website, remember, you need to get on top of that rockfish spot. You need to get the boat, put up right up on top of it, stop the boat, maybe back down a little bit to make the forward momentum stop, and then drop your line straight down to where those fish are. If you're drifting at all, you're going to have to figure out how to drift to get your line across them. But 90% of the time when you're watching the game plans on my website, I'm not sending you out there when there's a lot of wind. So you can pretty much zero out on your GPS. When it says 0.00 to go to the numbers, that's when you want to drop, and you want to drop right away. So you're getting straight down to these rockfish. Mike Lewis, thank you. Yep, sometimes the tiniest little spot produces the very best fish. And most of the spots that I give you, gang, aren't very big. They're very, very small. And that's why it's very, very important to be right on top of them when you drop your line down. I see people all the time also that they drop their line down when they're right on top and get a bite, and then they just keep fishing. Well, you've already drifted off the spot, gang. There's no reason to drop your line back down. You need to wind it up, go drive the boat back to the spot, and then drop it back down. You don't want to just nilly-willy drift. Just because you caught a fish right when you were on the spot, you need to understand, and you need to try to put a mental map in your head that, hey, I was bit when I was on the spot. Now we're off the spot. Those fish aren't chasing you. Those fish are staying right at their house. So you need to go back to their house and drop your line back down to them. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. We got to talk about this, gang. And then I'm going to throw up a quick video to show you. We had another one of our members. He couldn't even believe it. When the Fish and Wildlife are working very, very hard right now at Catalina. They are working very, very hard, especially this last weekend. My goodness, there were so many. Both boats were at Catalina this weekend, and they were working very, very hard. One of our, Tim Reynolds, yep, he wanted to let you know that yes, he got a ticket for not having a landing net on the boat. They were compliant with everything else. He said when the Fish and Wildlife started to come towards them and they could see them, the first thing he thought of was my voice telling him, you got to have a landing net. And he didn't have it. And maybe he was just looking guilty. But they asked to see his fishing license, him and his buddies on the boat. And then the next question was, can we see your landing net? Gang, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you going out there without what you have to have? It's weird. Those of you that are watching in Florida and across the United States, in California, fishing in the saltwater, when we sign our fishing license, we buy our fishing license, then we sign it. Right above where we sign it, it has in small letters saying that we've read the rules and we understand the rules. Then we sign our fishing license, and it's not valid until we sign it. That, as soon as you buy your fishing license, you're telling the Fish and Wildlife that you know you're supposed to have a landing net. It's the law in California. There's no way around it, and they are looking for it. So hold on one second. Let me just show you something real quick about this landing net. Then we'll go right back to talking about what we were talking about. But this is imperative, gang. You have to have this on your boat. I don't care where you get it from, but check this out. Gang, your saltwater guide with the Promar Pro Mesh Series hook resistant landing net. Gang, you cannot believe how cool this thing is. First of all, you have to have one if you're in California, because it's the law. You have to have a landing net on your boat. There isn't a better landing net to have than the Promar Pro Mesh Series hook resistant landing net. Let me just show you why. This thing stores perfect. Look at this, is the handle. This is the net itself. These two things store perfect. The handle extends out for easy access to landing fish, and it hooks together very quickly to make quick work of landing your big whopper fish. And there you go. All right, gang. So it doesn't get much easier than that. And right now, I think over on Promar website, that's $49.95 for that net. And then if you enter the Promar website through my QR code, you're going to save 10% on the net. Gang, I don't want to see another message come from anybody saying, well, Dave, they got me. Gang, they're writing this ticket. Go to Promar, check out the website, get your Pro Mesh Series landing net so that you don't get that ticket. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I'm just trying to help you, gang. And Promar's trying to help you by giving you a discount by buying that net, $49.95. I thinking that ticket that he got is going to be in the probably by the time everything's all said and done and the assessment fees and everything else, and it's not a fix-it ticket. You can't come back and go, oh, look, I got the landing net. It's a real ticket. And then they throw assessment fees on it, and he has to go to court in Catalina. Yep. He's got to go to Catalina. He's got to take a day off from work because it's not open on the weekends. So he's got to take a day off from work. He has to get on the Catalina Express. So he has to buy a ticket for that, a round trip ticket. And he has to go to Catalina, and he has to go see the judge in Catalina. And then they'll tell him what the fine is. And then before he leaves Catalina, he has to pay that fine. And that's how it works. That's the way it works because it was written at Catalina. So that ticket for that Pro Mesh Series, or for that landing net, that's an amazing amount of money if you stop and think about it. Most of you are making a couple dollars at work for the day. The Catalina Express, I believe, 75 one way. So that's another 150. You probably want to eat when you're there. So there's a couple bucks for food. And then if they throw that ticket on you with the assessment fees and everything, I'll bet you're going to be spending over $1,000. And all you had to do was get a landing net. Gang, don't be caught out there. Go to the website and get that landing net. Plus, by entering the website right now, you're going to get entered into that contest, and Promar's giving away a bag of swag on June 1st. Kelly Girl will pick your name out of the bucket, and you'll win a bag of swag. But you got to get that landing net. Don't get it from go get it from somebody else. They're giving it $49.95. and then 10% off. But go to your local tackle store and get it. Get it somewhere. Get a landing net. The bait scoop's not going to work. Mr. Randolph tried the bait scoop thing. They're like laughing. That doesn't work. The landing net has to be a landing net. It has to have I don't know the exact dimension of the opening of the net because I just know you have to have one. So I don't know all the dimensions of the net, but I know a bait scoop doesn't work. I know that for a fact. So be compliant with what's going on and be happy that we have rockfish to catch right now. And don't keep waiting for something really spectacular to happen. I'm only going to go fishing when the big bluefin are biting wide open or the yellowfin. The day you finally go, that'll be the day they stop biting. Because I don't care how good it is, there's nothing colder than yesterday's hot spot. So understand that. Mike Lewis, Kim and Dan, Tim, all the people that are on my website that are constantly on the website, they understand that there's plenty of fish to catch and you don't have to wait. You do not have to wait for the fish to be wide open. We have all these artificial reefs that are great to fish on. We have so much stuff to do in Southern California that if all you like to do is fish for tuna, you're missing out. It's sad that you're missing out. Yeah, Tim, I know. And that was a beautiful picture you sent me of that red. That's a nice big fish. So much to do. And the fishing game isn't spying on anyone, Anthony. The fishing game are doing their job. And if you're such a booger eater that you cannot fish compliantly, I have no sympathy for you. They're not spying. They're doing their flipping job. Could you imagine having to do that for a living and go chase down private boaters that are not fishing compliant and dealing with all that baloney every single day? And the easy ones, the low-hanging fruit, are the guys fishing on the front side of Catalina where it's flat, glassy, calm. It's easy for the Fish and Wildlife to pull up to your boat and step on. It's not rough. It's not hard for them to do it. And they're jumping on your boat and they're doing the easy things. And then, yeah, Greg, by law, you do not have to have the descending device, but you know what? If you're going to fish rockfish in Southern California, you should have a descending device. Here's the deal. You're a member of my website or someone else's website. We talk all the time about red snapper and we talk about the chili peppers, and then the rest of the stuff is basically the other fish. We want reds and we want chilies, and the other stuff, while we're trying to pick through it, we're going to descend those down to the bottom so they can swim around and keep, if they stay alive or if they're dead, at least they're not floating on the surface where we look really, really bad to anybody that's looking for us or anybody that's trying to shut down what's going on. And then, can you imagine pulling up to a boat that has 15 or 20 fish floating around it? And they take pictures of it and then they send it into the Fish and Wildlife. And we're trying to get, our next move is to get the cowcod conservation zones opened. And that would be incredible if we could start fishing the 43 and the Cherry and the 70-90 and the deeper water on the Tanner and the Cortez and oh my gosh, and the Osborne Bank. If they open all that stuff up, oh my gosh, the best thing that would happen, first of all, is it would allow the sport boats to spread out, not all have to fish on the 14. It would allow them to spread out and have more area to fish, which would be better for the environment, better for rockfish fishing. But if we're going to be the ugly guys out there fishing and we have a bunch of dead fish floating around our boats out there, there's a really bad chance that we're going to get any of this stuff opened up again so that we can be successful when we go out on our private boats or out on our sport boats. Everything matters and everything you do matters. Is it required by law to have the descending device? No. Should you have one? Absolutely. And you should use it every single time you can. Cue ball's bringing up a good thing. We're spoiled by the halibut and sea bass. We are, because that is a cool thing. You can go rockfish fishing. You can go try to catch a halibut. You can go try to catch a sea bass. We are very spoiled with having that. But most people in the last 6-7 years, cue ball, they've decided that they're only big. Oh, there you go, Justin. Thank you. $485 fine for not having a landing net. Gang, that's $485. That's before the assessment fees. That's before the ticket to get to Catalina. That's before the day off from work. It's $485. It's the law. Justin just put it up here on the screen for those of you on Facebook. It's up on the screen. It's kind of wild. There it is. Check it out. Just looked it up. And there it is. And those of you over here on TikTok, it's a law, and he's pulled it up, and he gives the section, the number, the whole thing. Pretty crazy that anybody thinks that they can get away without using a landing net. And it doesn't even matter if you're bluefin fishing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You have, when you can be just fishing in the harbor. When you sign your fishing license, you're telling them that you're going to be in compliance and you're going to have that landing net. All right. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. We know, Dave, we get it. Well, some people aren't getting it because this fine keeps coming. Last year we talked about it. The year before we talked about it. We had a handful of guys that got the ticket. I'm just trying to help you to avoid that ticket, gang. You can argue with me all you want and say, oh, you don't have to have one. Baloney. You have to have one. Go to Promar Ahi, grab that QR code and go over there. You can save 10%. You don't have to put in any code, nothing. You just go to that QR code, jump on their website, get your landing net. It'll be delivered to your house before next weekend, and you'll be in compliance. Or go down to your local tackle store and get that landing net. But it's imperative to have that. But let's go back to what we were talking about as far as rockfish goes. Gang, we have so many rockfish spots to fish from the Mexican border up to the Channel Islands. And it really, really, really is special to have all this that we are allowed to fish. And they on a daily basis, they're trying to close everything. And for the first time ever, they opened something up. See, that's CCA. They're constantly working on getting stuff open for us. I want you to check out their website if you're not a member of CCA. Please check them out. They're trying to get stuff open so we can go fishing. And if you don't believe that, this year was historic, opening up the depth limits and allowing us to fish that deeper water, which has done nothing but enhance the sport boat industry and the private boaters, because we all have all this fish to catch right now. With the lack of the warmer water and the lack of the tuna in our Southern California bite coming into June, we are so happy and so blessed that we were allowed to get this rockfish thing open for us. Yeah, we lost a month on the front end. We didn't get to open it until April 1st, but oh my gosh, how great is it that we have this? And the reason why I'm pushing this point and talking about it so much today is because I hear so many people whining and whimpering and complaining that all we have is rockfish to catch and halibut. Where's the tuna? I love tuna fishing. Gang, this is Southern California. One thing I tell all my guys when they call me is, if you only like to fish for tuna, you need to move. Move to Cabo. Move somewhere. Move to Puerto Vallarta. Move to Costa Rica. Move somewhere where they have tuna year-round. But if you live in Southern California, you need to start learning how to fish for the fish that live in Southern California. Your rockfish, your yellowtail, your calico bass, your white sea bass, your halibut. And gang, it is fun to fish if you learn how to fish. If you don't know how to fish, fishing kind of sucks. Because I know a lot of people go, oh, I just want to fish. Baloney, you want to catch. Joey Helgren and I, we used to hear you when you were down on the deck when we were looking for conditions or we were driving around trying to find you guys something to catch. We would hear you on the PA because we could turn the PA up and listen. And we would hear you up there, down there on the deck going, God, I wish you would just stop. I just want to fish. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to catch. Nobody just wants to fish. I'm sorry. Well, you don't. Not if you're on the ocean on a boat. You want to catch. I now, if you're on the edge of a lake and you just throw your rod out and you're having a picnic or something, yeah, then yeah, I could believe that. But if you're on a boat and you're burning all that fuel and buying all that bait, you want to catch. So that's why I built my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, because I used to go with one individual at a time and teach them how to fish on their private boat. And then I knew there was a better way. So I built Your Saltwater Guide 5 years ago. The website's incredible. We have over 580 how-to videos. The live show goes up every day. And here it is. It's this podcast. It goes up live every day with plenty of really good information. You get to watch my monkey. There he is right above my head. Marley is in such a good mood today. We haven't seen you for so long, Marley. Thanks for being a part of the show today. But all these seminars that we do, or podcasts that we do every day, they have little nuggets of information. I hear it from all the members all the time. Thanks, Dave. Most of the time, I'm just sharing my passion with you, and then people are learning from the passion. But this rockfish thing is a blessing and an honor to have it, gang. And don't take advantage. Don't not understand how important it is to talk highly of it. If you're on someone's website or you're on one of the social media platforms, you're talking about rockfish, listen. The people that want to close everything are listening also. So be very careful with your words. Be very careful with what you share. Try to keep the negative out of it. There's some captains, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me, that call in reports every day. And every part of the report is super negative about fishing, about boats, about water conditions. They share all this negative, and at the very end of their call in, they say, "Hey, I know fishing sucks and the weather sucks and the water conditions suck and the water's dirty and there's no conditions, but we have openings tonight if you'd like to go fishing." I'm like, holy mackerel, do you not understand? If you're telling everybody everything sucks, why do they want to go with you? So be careful the words that you use. Be very careful what you're talking about, because there are people that are dying to close everything in California, and they're just hanging on every word. I am very, very blessed and very, very happy that we have the rockfish to catch. I'm very happy that we have all these spots that we're able to fish. I'm happy that they opened the 14-mile bank up and we're able to fish. And then, like Q-Ball was saying, while you're out rockfish fishing, it happens all the time. You stumble into a school of yellowtail. You see the bluefin when you're out there. The rockfish is a segue to finding the other fish. Boats go out to the Cortez or the Tanner, and they're fishing for rockfish while they're waiting for the bluefin or the yellowtail to show up or the conditions to switch. We don't want that to be taken away from us, gang. And there's powers way greater than us that are trying so hard to get rid of anything that makes us smile in California. If they find out that you're smiling, believe me, there's someone there that's going to try to do everything in their power to wipe that smile off your face. They don't want you to smile, and they really hate me because I have a suntan. I'm like enemy number one. I'm smiling all the time. I'm super happy, and I have a suntan. There's powers to be up in Sacramento that are like, we have to get that smile off of Dave's face. We have to figure out what it's going to take. And the best thing they can do is figure out that they need to close some more stuff. So understand this rockfish thing, how important it is, and then understand the proper way to fish for these things is to fish with straight braided line. You do not want monofilament on your reel any way, shape, or form. If you're fishing with mono, you're cheating on yourself, because monofilament has a ton of stretch in it and it has a tendency to want to float on the water. So there's a good chance you're not going to make it all the way to the bottom in time to be right on top of those fish. Also, your spool of line has to be a big spool if you're not fishing with braid to hold enough monofilament to get to the bottom in 500 feet of water. If you're using straight braided line and a 1 pound weight or 12 ounce or 16 ounce, the line's going to go straight down to the bottom to where those rockfish are. Monofilament, also, when you get the bite, by the time you feel it at the surface 500 feet down with mono, that fish is long gone. He's already taken off because monofilament stretches so much and it doesn't give you instant gratification. It doesn't let you know that that fish is there. With straight braided line, you can feel the fish swim by your line almost. It's so sensitive. So you want to make sure you're using straight braided line. You're going to want to make sure you use enough weight. Oh my gosh, something perfect Brian Woolley sent me. Gang, if the captain of the sport boat tells you to put on 16 ounces of weight, put on 16 ounces of weight. If you're the one guy with 8 ounces of weight and everybody else on the boat has 16 ounces of weight, first of all, there's a reason why the captain told you to put on that much weight, because he's going to fish deep and he knows that the current's smoldering, moving pretty quick. And if you're the guy that doesn't have the right amount of weight on, you're going to tangle up the rest of the innocent bystanders on the boat. So make sure you're using the proper amount of weight, and nobody knows better than the captain. Now, if you're on a private boat and you're not a member of my website, I'm going to give you a couple of pointers real quick. We have a plethora of videos about rockfish fishing. So the people that are members of my website, they don't suck at fishing anymore. But if you're into sucking at fishing and you can't bring up the courage to spend $9 a month on a website that teaches you not to suck anymore, I'll give you a few pointers real quick. When you're fishing for rockfish and you're fishing in 400 feet of water, I wouldn't fish with less than 12 ounces of weight. I just wouldn't, because I want to make sure that my line gets down there. If I'm going to go to 500 feet of water or greater, I'm going to fish with 1 pound of weight. I am, because I want to make sure I get down to where those fish are. I'm going to use a longer rod. If I'm fishing 1 pound of weight, I'm not going to use my 9-foot rod. I'm going to use my 7-foot rod with a stiffer tip. My 9-foot rods have a little bit, for lack of a better word, a little bit more play in the tip of the rod. But when I'm fishing that heavier weight, I don't want that tip of that rod bending so much. So I'm going to use a heavier rod. And then why so much weight? Because it's crucial to get down to the bottom to where those fish are, especially if you have any little bit of wind or any little bit of current. You're going to slide off that spot so fast that you want to rocket your baits down to the bottom. Once you hit the bottom, you're going to click the reel in gear and you're going to take a crank off the bottom, 1 crank, maybe a half a crank, not a couple cranks, because nowadays the reels that we're fishing with have 6-to-1 gear ratio. You take 2 cranks off the bottom, your bait's going to be 3 or 4 feet off the bottom, and those reds and those chilies are laying right in the structure. So you want to make sure you're as close to the bottom as you can. And the next thing I'm going to help you out with is your drag needs to be as tight as you can make it. When you're rockfish fishing, you do not want any drag coming off. And I know you like to hook big lingcod and big reds. Well, if you're using the right pound line, I'm not going to fish rockfish with light line. I'm going to fish it with heavy line. I'm going to fish it with 40 or 50 pound fluorocarbon or 40 or 50 pound monofilament for my leader line, not my spool. And then I'm going to fish straight braid, 40 pound or 65 pound. I'm not going to fish less than 40, and I'm not going to fish more than 65. But I'm going to make sure the drag is as tight as it can be, because I do not want that rockfish having an opportunity when I hook him to take my hook or my weight into the rocks. I'm going to make sure that when I hook that fish, 1 hook set and then slowly wind, and I'm going to wind him out of those rocks. But if that fish can take any drag at all, he's going to go. They have a plan. I'm sorry, I jump all over the place, but those rockfish, all fish have a plan when they bite your bait. Think about it when you're feeding your fish in your aquarium. They come up to the surface, grab that food, and then go back down to their little house. Same thing happens with rockfish, yellowtail. They grab your bait and they head right straight back to their house, straight back to that structure. That's why you do not want them to have any chance to pull any line off your spool. One good solid hook set, and then slowly turn the handle to bring them out of the rocks. That's going to help you out tremendously. I can't even comprehend how many people, I can't even count the number of people I've seen that keep swinging and winding on that rockfish. If it's in 500 feet of water and they're jerking and winding, jerking and winding, jerking and winding, you got a 99.9% chance that you will jerk that fish off. And the guys I see that are jerking the hardest and the most, they're the married guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud. Yeah, I said it. No, but when you set the hook, rockfish fishing, you set the hook once, you turn the handle, period. That's it. That's all you do. I love to rockfish. I'm into it big time. Way more than I ever want to catch a stupid bluefin or a marlin or a wahoo or a dorado. I think maybe it's calico bass, roosterfish, or rockfish. They're right there. Calico bass first for me, and then roosterfish or rockfish, because I'm really into roosterfish fishing down here now. It's kind of my deal. But I love rockfish fishing. I love getting that hook set and then slowly winding them out of the structure that they're in and making sure I don't get hung in the rocks. And then also remember, when you're rockfish fishing, every single spot you fish has potential to have a big lingcod on it. There's no fences down there. Those lingcod are swimming from rock pile to rock pile looking for little rockfish to eat. If you hook a big ling and your drag's too loose, you're never going to get him. He's going to take you right into that structure. They're like an eel. They're going right straight back into the structure, and you'll never, ever see him again. So make sure your drag's as tight as it can be. Make sure you have exactly the right amount of weight on, especially if you're on a sport boat. And then it's about paying attention to your line. When you're fishing in 500 feet of water, if you're not paying attention to that sinker when it hits the bottom, if you don't know what it feels like, when the boat's drifting, you're going to keep letting line out. I see it all the time. And then you are causing some of the biggest, most horrendous tangles I've ever seen in my life. So pay attention, get to feel what it feels like to hit the bottom with the weight that you're using. Understand that the line will keep going out. Well, my line keeps going out. Well, you've been on the I tell them, well, you've been on the bottom for 3 minutes already. You've let out about 200 yards of extra line you didn't have to let out. You got to be able to know when your sinker hits the bottom, and then you have to be able to wind that little bit of slack out of your line and get your bait about a half a crank off the bottom so you don't snag the rocks. And if any of this sounds interesting, if any of it sounds like, hey, I want to know more, go over to my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, or call me, 949-374-0786. I'll get you lined up on the website for free, get you a free look, and then you can make your own decision whether you want to spend your hard-earned money on my website or what you want to do to go figure this out on your own, like they tell you to do over on Instagram. Those captains that have been doing this for a living for almost an hour now, they tell you, oh, figure it out on your own like I had to. God, I wish there was something like this when I was growing up trying to figure this thing out, because I was too dumb to listen, too dumb to understand all the great knowledge that I could have been getting from all these great captains that I worked for. But everything happens for a reason, and here we are today trying to help you all out, trying to share all the information that I've stole from all the great captains I've worked for. Gang, check me out, yoursaltwaterguide.com. I go live Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Tomorrow is going to be Text the Show. Wednesday, you guys can text questions to me about the show. What did you drop, buddy? What did you drop? Oh, you dropped your mango container. You ate it all, though. Good boy. All right. Gang, sorry. Just had to say hi to Marley. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I entertained you, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks.